Hi, this is Christian. In this video, we'll be looking at the logical AND and logical OR operators, two very important operators in any programming language. Now, the logical AND takes this pair of ampersands and it requires two sets of conditions. So it's almost like a binary operator. And the logical OR uses the two pipe symbols here. And these are used for testing what's called a truthy or falsy values. That means this you can only form a truth table, right? You cannot test for any other values between just true and false. And they're commonly used to form what's called a compound condition. We have more than one conditions together in a single expression. So here's some examples of that. If you are comparing, a set of operations here, whether they are both true, or here whether one of them is true or false, right? And then you can also do something very simple like this. Again, it's a true value or true and false value, and you get the result based on their truth table. So let's see how they look like in PHP. And here in the IDE, I'm going to create another file, and I'm just going to call it logical underscore operators. Okay, so the logical AND means both has to be true, or everything has to be true in order to be true. Okay, it's a logical AND. And it takes this pair of ampersand, right? No spaces in between, cannot do that. So if you have, like, for example, A is 1 and B is, B is 2. And so I can do that, right? So you can do a var dump again. If A is equal to B, then we know that is true or false, right? And you can say if that is true and say A is greater than, you just say 1, right? We don't know what A is, right? So you could do something like that. So here I'm not putting parentheses around it, and something you want to think about is the precedence of these operators. Which one should occur first? Okay, so in this case, these will occur first before you do the operands here. So, I mean, just to be safe, you always want to wrap your expression which one should occur first before the other ones. Otherwise, you might get unexpected results. So, I want to do something like that. Okay, so I'm testing for whether this is true. In this case, I'm expecting this to be false because, A is not equal to B, so this is false already. So therefore, this part is also false. So that means false. So in order for this to be true, both have to be true. Okay, so that part is done. We'll run and test it. And let's save that, go to the terminal, and let's run this. So I'm going to go PHP logical, and you see that it is false as we expected. Okay. If I were to say something like what about A is equal to true? Or A is not equal to B, we know that that's false already. I don't know that, but just A is greater or less than B. In this case, it's true. And A is greater than 1 is false. So again, the result will still be false. Okay, so if I save that again, you'll see that both are false. All right, so in order for this to be true, both has to be true. So that means A has to be equal or greater than 1. So now if you do that, then you should get a true, right? A is greater than or equal to 1, and this is now true. So both are true. So therefore, you see that both are true and everything is true. So this is also called what's called the short circuit operators. Okay, that means that you have two sets of equality checks here. So you check the first part and you also check the second part. So what I mean, the short circuit means that if the first part is already true, I mean, if it's true, then we need to also check the second part because we don't know the second part could be true or false, right? So you're forced to check the second part, okay? However, if the first is already false, okay, then if it's an AND operator, ampersand, a logical AND, then therefore we don't care about the rest of that at all. If I have 10 of them, I don't really care because all I know is that one of them is false, the entire expression will be false. So in this way, you kind of short-circuiting the expressions here because you didn't check the rest of the operations. Okay, so it's very helpful and very handy in this environment because you don't want to waste any CPU time, comparing these operators expressions. All you already know that it's going to be false. Okay, so that is what that's for. Now the logical OR is just the opposite of that, right? It requires only one of them has to be true. And once it's true, then you're good to go. So I'm just going to copy this again and put it down here. And so let me turn all these off. So the logical AND is the pipe symbol. Again, no space in between. They come together. Okay. So let's see what these are. The first one, if you say A is equal to B, this is false. A is greater than 1, this is false. And this is all false. They both are false. The second part, A is less than B, that's true. And then A is greater than 1, it's false, but I don't care because I have one true, so therefore this is going to be true. And the first part, A is less than B, so this is already true again. This is also true, so it's still going to be true. So I get false, true, true. Okay, so as expected, you see that is quite different from the other one. So if you look at this, so again, back to that short circuit thing. So you check the first part, this is false. I need to find one true value. I don't know if this second one is true or not, so I have to check it. So you force it to check the second one only if the first one is not already true. Right? So this is the opposite of this one here. So the second one, I know this is already true, so therefore I can ignore the rest. Same thing here, I can ignore the rest. Okay, had I put this one first, yeah, it's going to go from left to right. And then I can ignore the rest if I find the first true in this expression. So that is the short circuit for both of these operators. Okay, so very, very handy, very helpful. And if you notice in my slide, I didn't use the true values here. I could use the true or false. That is if it's a Boolean expression, right? So that's why I meant to say, for example, if I do something like T is equal to, right, A equals B, okay, and then let's put T1 and T2 equals A less than B. That's what I mean, right? So you already got the value to check them. So therefore, when you do a var dump, I just do T1 and T2. Okay, so therefore, let me just turn this off. Okay, so you see that when I run this in the script here, I get a false because this is false. A is not equal to B, right? We see that here. And A is less than B, but then I get a true and a false. So because I'm using the ampersand, this is result in a false. I'm using only one operand here if you look at this, because I'm checking for the true or false. Eventually that's what you do. Here I have two of them, but still when it gets evaluated, you're gonna get only true or false. So it's still only two operands. Okay, and the same for the OR. And that should be true. So one false, one true, because there's one true here. All right. Okay, so these are two very important operators, and most languages you will use this quite often in the code. So I just want to make sure that you understand how they work and what the rules are for using these operators.